So my team told me they have another test car that has been delivered to me and asked me to test drive it. And I was like, what car is that? And they're like, CX-3. Then I asked them, is it a CX-30? They said, no, CX-3. I honestly do not know this car is still being sold. And they told me it's a 1.5. It's a lower spec car. And it now costs like 100,000. Yeah, this car has been around for some time, I reckon. For quite some time. Well, that's my job. I got a test car. I will test drive it and let you all know. Cheers. Let's go into the car. Okay, keyless, still the button type. Alright, but when my team delivers a car, they don't lock it. Okay, keys are here. Okay, manual air conditioning, 2 USB ports, 12-volt socket, for SD cards, the Mazda infotainment system, the gear lever, sport button, auto hold, interior that has a little bit of a gimmick here. I mean, it's not a gimmick per se, but it's a combined use of cup holder and storage space. Okay, and that's the glove box. Some soft touch materials over here, which was I mean, back then when it was launched, we've never seen this sort of fit and finish in the segment. But of course, times have changed, right? And the Chinese cars are here. Okay, right, lovely build, still okay. The seats are fabric. All right, a very, very tight interior. Let's look at what we get. Okay, 1.5 Skyactiv engine, and not a lot of power, I presume. Wow, it's been a long time since I've seen this. It's been a while. I used to have a Proton Saga. No. And yep, these are nice touches. And don't expect any advanced stuff. Okay, you got engine start stop over here. Okay, the door bins are tiny because they put the speakers over here. You can put a large bottle still, but it's not a full length door bin that you can store more stuffs. Okay, none of the soft touch whatever here, just a little bit here. Okay, these are all decent quality hard plastics. Okay, let's come to the rear seats. The sitting position was alright because my colleague Chi Yang, who sent the car to me, was almost the same height as I am. The rear is tight. Okay, size 11.5 feet, and it's tight. I mean, I can't put my feet in between the rails, and basically the footwell doesn't fit my feet. I have to put inside. So obviously it's a big challenge to have 3 person sitting abreast. For a car of its segment, it tries to do a little bit more by having an armrest with integrated cup holders. Some cars I would think that, hey, just put 2 holes, you know, why something so elaborate? Okay, and visibility is a bit tight over here because at the end of the day, it's a small car. Alright, fundamentally this is a sort of like a jacked up Mazda 2. Okay, small car. I don't expect power boot or anything. Of course, obviously no. Alright, just an electronic release over there, and then the boot size is small. 1 medium-sized luggage would have filled it up. Okay, you get a parcel shelf, get this thick 3M thing, this thin cover thing, standard with Mazdas, and then you get a spare, okay, not a full size, not a actual replacement, okay. And yeah, it's a small car. It's a small car, and moreover, Mazda isn't best known for their interior packaging, okay. It's a small car. Let's go in and go for a drive. Yep, CX-3. Okay. What else to explore? You get some seatbelt warning thingy. Adjustable over here. And basic, I assume. And another thing that I can assume will be the fuel consumption won't be high. It's a small car, 1.5, and yeah, needs a lot of convincing for someone to buy it at 100,000-ish thousand, right? A while ago, the Mazda 2, which I also did not know is still around, was also being sold at 100,000. That is also a very tough call for Mazda to sell any. All right. And let's see. Let's go for a drive, like a refresher. Now, when these cars were launched back then, let me quickly just do about 10 years ago. I don't mean this car is 10 years old, but what I'm saying is, I think around there, or less than that. Okay, there are no power seats, nothing. Everything is manual. The seats are fabric. Okay, so about 10 years ago, when the car makers were. Thank you. Nanti balik. Thank you. Thank you. Now, about 10 years ago, when all the car makers tried to come up with some entry crossover SUV-ish. Basically, they try to take their hatchbacks and jack it up and try to sell it as an SUV. We see cars like, Ford Fiesta. They created one. I forgot the name. I completely forgot the name. And this one was created from the Mazda 2, right? Subaru did not have a car of this segment around our region. They used the Impreza hatchback and turned it into the XV. So everybody was doing something like that. All right, because the European markets, they still have a lot of hatchbacks and all that, and they just jack it up, and then they mark up prices by about 20,000-30,000. The CX-3, it arrived at a time when Honda Civics are still naturally aspirated, right? And suddenly it presents itself as an entry SUV. Like, you don't need to spend 150, 160 grand to get an SUV. You get a small one, more lifestyle. So that was this car's proposition back then. And to be honest, during the era, at this kind of price point, this is a very good looking car. Alright, it's a handsome car. Of course, HRV arrived and destroyed the segment with basically practicality that serves as a legit replacement for even a D segment user. They won't find the HRV lacking in anywhere in terms of usability of space and practicality and all that. And that car just walloped the entire market. All right, but some people who cherish Mazdas, the whole Jinba Itai thing, the nicer to drive thing, make no mistakes. You got up to this car, you start driving. It's not that the HRV is bad in any way, just that Mazda always had that little bit of an itch when it comes to for people who enjoy driving. But the thing is, people who enjoy driving, they won't actually go into like a crossover like this. They will go into the sedans, the hatchbacks, those cars. Okay, so brake feel is positive. The turn-in is good. Still a nice car to drive, right? But of course, without the 2-liter engine, you need to work the engine a little bit more, right? The Mazda 1.5 is still a happily revvy engine. The 2-liter, of course, provides more punch, and that's about it, right? Revving a small 4-cylinder engine in a small car is never something that you can enjoy orally, okay? Oh, okay. I seldom see people turning here. Okay, Axia, okay. Took up 2 lanes to make a turn. Go back into your lane, thank you. So there are people who ask us all the time what car to buy because we run a live show every Monday. And whenever they mention the CX-3, I have to clarify, are you talking about the CX-30 or the CX-3? So when they say it's the CX-3, then I will ask, are you married? Do you have children? Is it your one and only car, or is it a replacement car for your daily needs and all that? And when they say yes, it is, a small roundabout with my children, and then I will also ask, how old are your children? Why? Because if you have a baby, certain car seats can't fit into this car because it is just that small. The door opening behind is a tight. It's a small car. Put it that way. It is a small car. If your children has grown up, like 5, 6 years old, or 6 or 7, 8 years old, then you're fine. They should be fine sitting at the back. It is actually a car with 5 sets of seat belts, but with dimensions just enough for 4 person. Okay, so it is a small car, and now they try to drive the prices down, which I would say, in terms of a proposition, it no longer has any sort of selling point with regards to the competition. You look at the new city hatchback, right? That car presents itself as an absolute value. And when this car came out, Mazda has an edge over Toyota and Honda when it comes to interior fit and finish. Because back then they were still using all the coarse plastics and all that, the fit and finish is still pretty entry level, put it that way. Alright. Fast forward, all of them has improved, and this car is still being sold. This car is basically outclassed. X50 outclassed this car, the Honda City outclassed this car, and in fact I felt the Yaris handles better, less weight, bigger room inside, more agile on its feet. Of course, the interior design is not as attractive as Mazda's offering. I mean the Yaris, okay? But all in all, this is now presenting itself as a proposition, in terms of engine, in terms of whatever. It should be in our mind, in our brain, it shows itself as something around the price point of 80,000. Alright? And then when you look at the competition of 80,000, what you get to buy out there, a lot of cars with advanced features, which unfortunately this car has to be taken out to keep the prices low. Okay? So I do think, as good as this car was back in those days, now I cannot find a reason to recommend people buying this car anymore, because it no longer presents itself as a proposition that is worthwhile of your money in this time and age. Right? It's not no longer appeal, even though the design is still considered nice. Wait. Thank you Saya letak balik. Nanti ada orang ambil. Thank you. Okay. Bye bye. So yeah, no longer, provided you want something different. You want people to know that you did not spend 70, 80,000 to buy those cars, and you spent 100 over thousand to buy this car. That's it. Other than that, this car's position and segment should have already been replaced by the CX-3. Okay, and yeah, nope, I will not recommend this car. So if you are looking at buying this car, I would say you can look elsewhere, or look at the HRV, or look at something else, because yeah, even that old Honda Jazz is larger than this car in terms of interior room, similar footprint. Okay, of course the interior build, this one is better, and yep, CX-3 2023. Cheers.